Good evening, everyone. Welcome to First Church of Religious Science. Glad you're with us. Welcome to our Louise Hay self-healing class. Whether you're joining us this evening on Zoom or watching later on Facebook, Insta, X, or YouTube, I'm really grateful you're with us. So let's get into tonight's topic, tonight's class. It's called The Way Back to Yourself. And so we're clear, we're not talking about climbing to some distant place, mountain, or chasing an impossible dream. But what we're talking about is coming back to that center, that quiet, steady place inside of you. We know that even when the outer world gets noisy or messy, we know that there is this still space within us. It's there. It waits for us. Some of you might remember the old Woodstock lyric, that was my generation. We are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden. And that's a line that spoke to me years ago, and I still think of it from time to time because it speaks to our soul. Because the garden that we want to get back to isn't any place above us or out there. It's very comforting to know that it's in you and it's operating through you. So everything you're looking for is already here. It's here, present, within. And when we lose our way, and we do from time to time, and when things get too tough or too loud, we start living someone else's life or by someone else's rules, when we forget how magnificent and wonderful we really are. Those are signals to us. It's time to start loving ourselves more and getting back on track. So let's take a breath collectively together. Let's open our hearts, our minds, and let's begin with the first section. And I'm going to ask a question. Have you ever found yourself stuck in a mental rut or a mental spiral that you just couldn't seem to get out of? Have you ever been somewhat obsessing over someone, something, some situation, a person, place, or thing? Or we might ask ourselves, when did I stop feeling like myself? Or I remember a time when I felt so free and so exuberant. What happened to that person? What happened to that time? Well, if you have moments like this where you ask yourself questions like this, it's not quite being in despair, but you're being reflective, like, what's going on here? You're not alone in these moments. There is a quote often attributed to Henry David Thoreau, which is this. He said, "Most people live lives of quiet desperation." And I thought about that a little bit for the lesson. It isn't true, I don't think, of religious scientists. I don't think it's true of people who practice the teaching. But it's probably true of a lot of people in the world where they live lives of quiet desperation because they've thought it through 1,000 times and they don't see any way out. They don't see the silver lining or the golden lining. So I don't think that's true of us. Those of you who are plugged into this teaching are learning to practice positive expectancy. And I think it's different for most of us. But I do think Thoreau, again, was correct. Too many people are probably silently suffering, living in states of consciousness with quite a bit of fear of what might happen if they speak up or if their relationship ends or their job disappears or if they finally put themselves first. And Louise Hay reminds us that we learn all this, I used to call it BS, belief systems when we're younger. We absorb it like a sponge. And then we move through our life creating experiences. They're going to match this belief system or this whole body of beliefs. So that means sometimes there's anguish, sometimes it's hellish, and we have experiences that are not always pleasant. And this is not any type of eternal punishment. God is not out to get us, as many of us might have thought when we were younger. What's going on is a mental loop, or loops, that we didn't even know that we possessed. You might be navigating your day pretty well, getting things done. You might be being productive. But underneath that, there may be an ache. There may be a loop, series of thoughts that go round and round. There could even be a little bit of suffering or a quiet suffering that you've grown a bit used to. And we might even think at this point that it's normal. I think some of us have some stuff we just haven't dealt with. We sometimes decorate our hellish experiences. In other words, we tell ourselves it's okay. And when we do that, we're normalizing it, or we'll rationalize what's going on in our life. And because more often it's the slow erosion of joy that happens over time. And so these things sometimes are hidden in plain sight. It can look like smiling on the outside, telling everybody, I'm fine, while deeply carrying something within, where it's a sense of being ill at ease, or there's some shame, or there's some regret, or possibly some anger that you haven't dealt with. Or maybe it's staying silent in a relationship when you know things that have happened haven't been dealt with. And as we stay in these situations, sometimes it's eroding our very essence, our soul. They're patterns of consciousness that are shaped by old beliefs that have overstayed their welcome. Ernest Holmes, our founder, wrote, "The only hell is in the mind that refuses to see its own divine nature." Again, you're divine beings, and so let's embrace it. You might even say to yourself, I am divine. And Holmes again is saying the only hell is in the mind that refuses to see its own divine nature. That doesn't mean the pain that you have isn't real. It means the pain isn't your truth. Louise Hay taught us every experience you have is a reflection of the beliefs that you hold. Every experience that you have is a reflection of the beliefs that you hold. So that's not a judgment. When you understand what she's saying, it's really very freeing. It's liberating. Because once you know that everything is a reflection of your thoughts and your thinking, your beliefs, you can actually do something about that. You can change your thinking, you will change your life. You can change the way you speak, you can change your language, and you will have a different effect. So it's a tremendous gift to have this realization. The realization that we're caused to our own experience. Because if the suffering we experience is based upon beliefs and mistaken ideas, then the path to freedom begins with new thinking and a new belief. And that's what we're doing tonight. That's what we do whenever we gather. So in our second point tonight, we're talking about choosing a new direction. Because we're empowered. You know you're one with the one. You're the heir to everything. So you want to connect with that knowledge. You want that knowledge to inform you. And then you want to obviously choose a new pathway, a new direction. Once we recognize that and we know that we're not stuck in any way, once we understand that life is responding to us all the time, then the next question obviously is going to be, well, what can I do now? What's next for me? Because I'm clear that I'm not here just to survive, and I know that I don't want to be repeating the old loops over and over again. So with that in mind, what is your mind, what is your energy going to focus on? Where do you want to go, knowing that you have this power within you? Ernest Holmes said, change your thinking and you'll change your life. That sounds so simple, but choosing a new direction means getting honest with yourself. We go back to Socrates, which I always am reminded of, because he said, know yourself. Get honest with yourself and know yourself. Socrates would be telling us to know ourselves. And if you've ever seen a 12-step program, there's a suggestion to take an inventory so you can know yourself and know what you're up to. We want to do this so we can be free. We want to free ourselves of all these limiting patterns. Because most of us want to let go of the identity that's been wrapped up in suffering and bondage and poor me and ain't it awful. We want to let go of people-pleasing. We want to let go of the idea of playing small. And sometimes that's a bit of work. It isn't easy necessarily. It may be simple, as Louise would say, but it's not necessarily easy. For many of us, pain has become familiar. We're living in circumstances, or we find ourselves in situations that might be less than perfect. Some people have even found chaos and disorder and all of that unmanageability normal. It's home to them. But this kind of comfort doesn't equal truth. It isn't empowering, and it certainly doesn't equal joy. So at this point, I'd like you to imagine your life as a wonderful sailboat, and your thoughts are the wind. You can drift aimlessly, right? Reacting to any wind or storm of the world. Or, as Holmes would suggest, you can set your sail intentionally. You can set your sail in a direction towards something beautiful, because you can do that. You see, that's the power of choice. That's the power that comes from practicing this teaching. Louise Hay once said, every thought we think is powerful, and it's creating our future. So let me tell you a true story. I have a friend, Olivia. At the time, she was working a job she absolutely hated. And every morning, she felt like it just wasn't good for her. She lost her joy, and she tried to see the best in her job, as I recall. But inside of her, there was something in her that said, you were not meant for this, you were not born for this, you don't belong here. So she started working with affirmations, thankfully, because she was stuck in a loop. And in those days, it was yellow Post-it notes and stickies, and she came up with affirmations. And the two that I recall were, the first one was, I am open to new possibilities. And the second was very similar. I'm open to new opportunities. And I remember how this story unfolded as I was preparing my lesson. She was doing this, she was saying these things aloud, right? I'm open to new opportunities. And she didn't really believe it 100%, as I recall, but she started to, she made it a game. And she started to believe it a little bit anyway. And she kept practicing it. And as she did, she started to believe it a little bit. So again, it was repeated, it was read, it was said out loud, and all of that. Olivia didn't force anything to happen. But after several weeks, she did get a lead from a friend about a job. And what she was doing, the way we language it here, is she was doing a lot of preparation. She was preparing the soil as she was dropping in these affirmations. There's a lot of power in this teaching, and it will surprise you, the power that you have. In her case, a couple weeks later, as I say, she got information, she got a lead, and she applied for her new job, a job that she loved and liked for a long time. And she said to us at the time, her affirmations, her affirmative living, the work she was doing gave her her life back. So I've spoken about this process so many times in so many lessons. I remember being impressed when I was younger by Benjamin Franklin with his Poor Richard's Almanac, suggesting that we assume a virtue if we have it not. And I think for each virtue, we were supposed to practice it for 13 weeks. You can imagine the virtues. I didn't look them up for you this week. But maybe you're going to be prosperous, you're going to be generous. Whatever you lack, you turn it around into something that's positive, and you're going to assume that virtue. Think of Olivia with her sticky notes. You're going to put it everywhere. You're going to create an affirmation so you can see yourself stating that you have this virtue and that you are prosperous or you are wonderful and whatever it is. And Franklin wasn't using Post-it notes, obviously, but the same dynamic was going on with him as was going on with Olivia. Olivia had her shift, and anybody, I presume, who was working with Benjamin Franklin's formula would have a shift also. You see, that's what happens when we stop asking, why is this happening to me? Or that's what happens when we stop thinking, poor me. Or as my other teacher, Bill, used to say, or ain't it awful? If what's going on inside of me is poor me, nothing works out for me, ain't it awful, why is this happening for me? It's going to bring you to very predictable places. When we start asking, though, what's coming, what's Spirit trying to show me here? Or where is life taking me here? You'll start to get answers, because Spirit will answer you. Stuart Wilde once said, life was never meant to be a struggle. But here's the key. If we want new experiences, we have to point our thoughts in new directions. If you keep cycling the same thoughts, you're going to get the same results. So we want to point our thinking in a new direction. We want to employ expansive thoughts, thoughts that are filled with life. So even if the outer conditions haven't changed at the moment, but if we keep with it, if we keep choosing love, peace, and freedom as our inner port, our entire trip is going to change. We're going to wind up going where we want to go. So let's make all of this a little bit more real, you can close your eyes for just a moment, turn inward, if it's safe for you to do so. Take a breath and ask yourself gently, where am I going? Where am I headed? Where am I going? What's next? Where do I want to go? Notice what comes up for you. Is that direction making you feel alive? Or is it wearing you out? Or just the thought of it wear you out? Again, where am I headed? Where would I like to go? Now I'd like you to imagine having just one shift toward the direction you want to go. Just maybe a word, how you want to begin, or where on this journey. Is it a fresh attitude? Perhaps it's a decision to forgive. Whatever comes to your mind. So let's breathe in and say, I choose a new direction. I choose a new direction, and I'm sailing toward joy. Repeat it. I choose a new direction, and I'm sailing toward joy. Even if you can't see the destination yet, Spirit already has the map. And here's where it starts to get powerful. When you begin to choose a new direction, you're not just adjusting your thoughts, you're reclaiming your authorship. So you're not just connected to Spirit. You are one with Spirit. You are one with the One. You are an individualization. Spirit is a presence, and it's never an absence. So you're an individualization, and Spirit is expressing itself here and now through you. You are one with this essence. You are one with this power. Again, there is one power. There's never two. It's in you. It's operating in you 24 hours a day, responding to you in every moment. You are one with this energy. You are one with this love. Louise Hay, knowing your oneness, put it plainly when she said, life absolutely loves you. Yes, life loves you, and it's always bringing you what you need for your growth and your evolution. Not just when things are going right, not just when you're meditating or praying. Life brings you what you need right now. It brings it to you in the messy middle of it all, in the kitchen, in the backyard, on the subway. It brings you through the tears that no one sees. Even when you forget, life remembers. And yes, forgetting happens. And at times these old messages do creep in. They creep in uninvited. Ideas like, you don't matter, you're too much, you're not enough. We forget. We get spiritual amnesia. But the good news, we can always wake up again at any time. Ernest Holmes wrote, you are not becoming spirit. We already are spirit, and we only need to reawaken to what we are. Remember the story of the prodigal son, which I speak of often. The moment he remembered who he was, the welcome was already waiting for him. He didn't earn it. He didn't prove anything. He simply came home. You see, that's us. That's you. We return to the garden. That's all of us. We don't have to do anything to get better or to be better. We don't have to earn anything to acquire this power. You already possess it all. You have all the power in the world that you need, and you can learn to use it. This power, this connection is your inheritance. The sacred lives in you. It's breathing in you. It's creating through you every single moment of every day. Eckhart Tolle said, you are the universe expressing itself as a human for a little while. Again, you are the universe expressing itself as a human for a little while. That means your presence, your light, it matters. It's so important, more than you've ever been told. Yes, your presence are very important, more than perhaps you've ever been told by anyone. Not someday, not when you're more healed or more disciplined. It's available, it's your presence and your power, so important. Right now, Thich Nhat Hanh reminds us the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you're attentive, you will always see it. Again, the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will always see it. So let's become attentive. Let's stop waiting to be rescued or validated. Let's remember what we have always known deep down. You are the one you have been waiting for. You're the answer you have been waiting for. Again, you are the one. Say this with me. I am one with the presence of Spirit. I'm whole, I'm worthy, and I'm ready to live from my light. I'm one with the presence of Spirit. I am whole, I am worthy, and I'm ready to live from my light. So, let's see. Let's bring this even a little bit closer to heart. You could put your hand on your chest if you're in a place where you can, or just be comfortable. Again, your eyes, close them or soften them, and ask yourself gently again. These questions are good just to unearth things. Where, if anywhere, have I forgotten my light? And what would I change if I remembered? Just notice what comes up for you. There's no need ever to judge or fix anything here. Just hold it with love, because you've already begun to shift something. So let's carry this awareness into our process. Our process tonight is about releasing and renewing. So let's plant a few seeds together. These are words for the part of you that's been waiting to remember. Let's start it off with the idea of, if I believed I was enough, okay, if I believed I was enough, I would speak more kindly to myself. I would breathe more deeply. I would take up space in the room without apology if I believed I was enough. If I believed I was enough, I would stop second-guessing my joy. I would rest when I'm tired. If I believed I was enough, I would trust the process of becoming. If I believed I was enough, I would ask for what I need. I would say no when it's not aligned. I would say yes to love that uplifts me. And I would stop calling my intuition overreacting. I would show up fully without shrinking if I believed I was enough. If I believed I was enough, I would stop waiting for permission. I would stop earning my worth. I would begin today. And so I do. So say this with me now. I'm enough. I'm enough. I'm worthy of joy. I'm worthy of joy. I reclaim the truth of who I am. Another. Right here, right now, I return to the garden. I return to myself. Let these words and your all settle in and carry that feeling with you as you move into our next process. So let's take a moment to turn inward, to reconnect with that sacred space within us where healing begins. Wherever you are, again, settle in, take a deep breath, anchor yourself, or know that you're supported in your chair, wherever you are. Close your eyes if you want. Take a slow, full breath. Gently release. Again, a breath in and out. Exhaling anything that no longer serves us. Now please imagine yourself standing in a quiet, open space. Could be a meadow, a mountaintop, a temple, or a place from your childhood. Wherever it is, let it be your inner sanctuary, a place where nothing can harm you. In your hands, you're holding a smooth stone, and this stone represents a thought, a belief, or a burden you've been carrying for a while, and you know what it is. Take a moment to name it silently for you alone. Now imagine placing that stone down gently with love. You don't have to throw it. You don't have to fight it. Just lay it down and say to yourself, I release the need to carry this. I'm now safe to let it go. Feel your body soften. Feel your breath deepen. Notice your breath in and out. Now in this open space, what begins to arise? Is it a color, a feeling, a word, a sense of peace, a sense of something? Whatever it is, let it come out. And now affirm, I choose a new direction. I choose a new direction. I'm connected. I remember who I am. Place your hand again over your heart if you want, and feel the warmth of your own presence. And say this quietly or aloud. I am one with the One. I'm one with Spirit, and I know I'm whole. I'm one with the One. I'm one with Spirit. I know I'm whole. I'm free, and I'm loved. And let these words land like seeds in the soil of your mind. Know that they're taking root. So let's take one more breath in. And exhale slowly. Gently begin to return to our space. We could wiggle our fingers and toes if you want. Bring your awareness back into this moment. When you're ready, open your eyes. You've just taken a sacred step. You've had a chance to let that light touch you. That light that's always been there. It's always been yours. And so let's go into our affirmative prayer for today, which is entitled A Return to Wholeness. And I'll start out in the first person by saying, I recognize the presence of Spirit within and around me. I recognize it. And I know that there's one infinite love, one eternal peace, one life flowing through everything, everyone, and I am one with it. I'm not separate. I'm not lost. I'm whole. I'm worthy. And I'm completely at home in the heart of life. Right now. Right now. And in this moment, I release heavy thoughts. I release the thoughts that keep me spiraling down. I lay down the old stories of not being okay and not being enough or being too late. Of who do you think you are? None of these stories are the truth of me. The truth of me is radiant, resilient, real. I accept that I'm spirit and form, capable of healing, worthy of joy, and destined for peace. Every cell in my body remembers this now, and every thought becomes more loving. Every word I speak is a bridge to the truth. I bless all my past with compassion, with love. I meet this new moment with power, and as I walk forward with the full support of the universe. I trust that what I have declared is already in motion. I let it be, and I let it unfold. And so it is. So, thank you, everybody, for being in this conversation about the way back to the garden, the way back to ourselves, our sacred selves. Whether you've been with us for a few weeks or a few years, or whether this may be your very first time, welcome and thank you for being here. We've explored some deep metaphysical territory together, the quiet inner places that sometimes are hellish or that we normalize, and the bold choices that we make to to change directions, and the sacred remembering that you're already connecting, you're already enough. So let me remind you that this isn't just a theory. This is your life, your glorious life, and it's responding to you all the time, and that everything we've spoken of this evening is already alive in you. So tonight we've laid down some bricks, some stones, whatever we want, we've let go of, and that's all good. We have remembered that we're not here to glorify our suffering. We're here to transform all of it, to speak the truth, to walk home to ourselves. So whatever stirred, whatever came up, please feel free to share about it. And most of all, just thanks for being here, and thanks for your support of the community and your support of one another. So we'll see you at the other side of the break. Thank you.